the right
But
advice.
there's also the whole aspect of who's paying to watch the film, right?
Yeah.
Because if a guy is paying to watch the film, right,
Hmm.
or if your film is targeted, like, because before you, I'm assuming these people definitely do it, because nowadays you can see that a lot of these web series and etc pitched at women, right?
Hmm.
So based on how they've identified their audience in terms of who's most likely to buy the content that we're putting out, I'm going to
Hmm.
sell those kinds of stories. So you are more
Yeah.
likely to sell a patriarchal story if you're selling
Hmm.
to men, right?
Of
You're
course.
more likely to have a
Yeah.
central character who is male if you're trying to sell to a bunch of dudes. The
Yeah.
more, but that is also limited because of the purchasing power men have in a society. If there
Yeah.
are women who have a certain level of purchasing power in a society, and
Hmm.
I'm in a completely market based environment, I am incentivized to make stories that appeal to women, where women are
Yes.
central characters, central protagonists of stories. Do you know? I forget this
Hmm.
test. There's a test. You know it. I know it. It's this test, which is basically from the past. Um, it's a simple test, um, and it's a threshold. It's basically two women characters talking for more
Hmm.
than like half a minute about
Yeah.
something besides a male in the story. So it's a very low
Yeah.
bar, right? So it's crazy
Hmm.
how a surprisingly low number of films, mainstream films, actually meet that bar. And a lot of them
Yeah.
don't, like Titanic doesn't. Some of the most famous films that you've heard of, none of them do. Like a very few number of
You
films
can't.
actually meet that bar.
Very, very. There's one example that pops up. It's a Spielberg film called The Color
Hmm.
Purple, where there is mention of men, but in their absence, and the circumstances in which the matriarch prevails, the
Yeah.
African matriarch, and who's subject to apartheid during its prime, when the slave trade was at its peak, and eventually they learn how to survive
Yeah.
uh, in the absence of a patriarch. Now, that is, again, I literally had to scratch my head to think of a film like that. So I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So it's a legit thing, and it's crazy to see. But I think that's changing. I think now, because definitely in Western society, even in India, women are getting more purchasing power. Like they have
Hmm.
their own they can make their own Netflix account, their own Prime Video account,
Yeah.
etc etc. So because they're
Hmm.
beginning to make these purchase decisions for consuming different kinds of content, you're
Hmm.
going to see more diverse audiences and more diverse content pitched at a whole different bunch of people. So
Hmm.
earlier, when like you see these films where women are super subservient, they all they're doing is they're playing second fiddle to most male characters. Suddenly now you're going to see them play more pivotal roles, more central roles, and that's
Hmm.
definitely going to happen. And what's weird about it is going to happen because of economics. It's going to
Yeah.
happen because of
Yeah.
finance, and it's going to become with reference to things which are outside the purview of theater and film.
It it is already happening. There's a film that one of my favorite directors, Mr. Anubhav Sinha, made
Yeah,
called Thappad
yeah,
with Tapsi Pannu. So he's like, just a slap. You want to divorce on just a slap? That he just, he was it was a moment, and he was drunk, and he just slapped you when you were trying to get him out of a fight. Like, no, he can't. Even if it's just a slap, he can't.
yeah.
Right? So films like that are being made, but I don't think that you will see a lot of female protagonists the way you are describing it. That we're gonna see a lot of them.
Hmm.
I don't think so, man.
Why not,
Because
man?
not anytime soon. It is gonna happen slowly and gradually.
Yeah,
Because see, bro, when the Second World War ended and the women went, or during the Second World War, when the women had to become the breadwinners
yeah,
of the families. So that's how old feminism is. And on top of that, our Indian society is, we are still grappling. Do you know, are you aware of the rape that happened in Hathras, the Dalit girl, the gang rape that happened? Yeah. So we are still, so a large section, still in huge pockets, we are still very regressive, man. Okay. And and even now, if you do a poll and a survey, and this is sad, how many female CEOs can you find, or in high and or in top administrative posts?